All right. So, we're about to get into it, but just a little cold open question. Seems that the fine folks at Mickey Mouse, I mean ESPN FC, stated that put the question out there is like, now that Omar Mamouche is now signed with Manchester City, does that mean that Jeremy Doku is on his way out? And I struggle with that because I feel like we've seen several different profiles of wingers um, come through Pep's system. We've seen explosive ones, we've seen crafty ones, we've seen good finishers, we've seen great passers, but never has have we seen one that had the full package, really. So I guess my cold open question would be, since you've been following City, who would you consider the most complete winger that City has had?
Oh, Thom Bomb. What are you doing to me? Making me pick through some of my favorite players ever? Because instantly I go Sane, Sterling, Mahrez, Grealish, Daku. Phil Foden did play winger for a while. Um, Most complete, doing all those different characteristics. I think I gotta still go Raheem Sterling. And I think the
Yeah,
reason for that is like the he's rapid, right? So just he can do work without the ball. So you can go through balls, you go over the top, all that stuff, sets up crosses. He could dribble at you. The man would cut in on his right and shoot. He could go baseline and make the cutback goal to the touchline. Um, he could also he finished. He's top five club goal scorer. So for that answer, I will give Raheem Sterling. What say you, sir?
I that has to be it. Like it has, like I don't think that there is an answer. Like none of none of the wingers that have been under the Pep era have had necessarily everything that you would have quote unquote wanted, like in that they were like elite finishers, elite crossers, elite dribblers, elite pace. Um, that stated, like if you did the percentile on Sterling in his prime when he was with City, he was probably at least in the 80th percentile in all of those things. Like that, like the lowest thing that you would give him would be what, finishing, and you would put that at what, a B minus. So I'll take
Yeah,
that. Like it.
and And honestly, I would say the winger that's the closest, and this is just my personal bias. I think Mars is right there. We just know he didn't have the explosive pace when we got him at City, but he
Right.
literally did everything else as a
Yes.
winger. And that first touch is one of the best first touches in Premier League history, and dare I say, the modern generation of football. Like it's so beautiful when those diagonals came, and you didn't see him lose it out. You didn't see him give it away. Like he just kept it. Like that is so valuable. So I would give a special shout to Mars as my number two overall.
We miss all our Algerian king. The we uh we miss him a lot. Just gosh darn. Like,
But we'll talk about North Africa real soon.
oh, for certain. We will definitely talk about North Africa. But we're making art over here and we capitalize that A.
I hate the most is when you don't want the ball. I hate it. You have permission to make a mistake. You have permission to lose. You have permission.
And that's when we get big.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
Attack everyone and send everyone.
I think we're forgetting the most important thing. We're forgetting about focusing just on ourselves.
But we can do better. We need to take the next step, and there's no better place than taking the next step here.
Show ourselves out there how much we want to win it again.
We win 4 of the last 5 Premier League, guys. 4 of the last 5 Premier League. Are we going to do it again?
Don't ask me again about doubles, triples, quadruples, fifth-tuples, six-tuples, and seven-tuples. So
I hate the most is when you don't want the ball. I hate it.
You heard that, man. Don't ask him no more about that foolishness. What is up, everyone? This is episode 125 of Shades of Blue. Let me find the right one. Yes.
World's famous.
We are the most comprehensive Manchester City podcast covering both the men and the women, spanning both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. I am Thom Bomb. I am here with the show bro, good homie Sharpie Charlie. Sharpie, what is going on with you this evening? How you living?
January might be the longest month in the history of Earth. How is it still January, Tom? So much has happened this month. There have been so many activities, so many things have occurred in this world, and it's still only January 27th as of recording. I need to see February. I am so tired of January. I'm grateful to be here. Every day is a blessing, but man, it is a long month.
Yeah, especially, when it's a transition and just like every 2 hours, some new shit just come up and like, I really gotta like be informed about this that I really don't want to be informed about. But I
I
mean,
am I'm really going with ignorance is bliss. Like I will not watch anything. I will see things pop up, but I'm not actively seeking out foolishness. Like it's life is too short. I went through that before. It was unhealthy for me. So you know me, I'm choosing joy as much as possible. I will say, is this the first time that we've done a recording as a two
I
part
think, yeah,
as a
I
dual
think it's just,
striker? You know,
I do think that it is. Yes. So I am
hey,
excited to get into that. This has been a very interesting weekend. Help Boothing move. Also, one of the nice things about moving in your 40s is that you're smart enough to just hire somebody to move that shit for you. That
amen,
is a
amen.
game changer. Let me
Hmm.
tell you what. Like
We
those
live in a
20-year-olds,
service based economy. Let them go. Let them work.
those 20-year-olds showed up to the crib. It was like, oh, they got all that shit packed up in the truck in like 30 minutes. Isn't this something? This is great. I love this.
It's a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. Happy for y'all. Happy that move happened. Oh
Yes.
man, let's get into it, baby.
Um, so, before we really, really get into it, um, please rate and review the podcast on your digital streaming platform of choice. 5 stars, or else what is the point? If you are watching on that YouTube, please give us that great big thumbs up, subscribe, hit that follow, leave us a comment, let us know that you are listening to us. Helps the algorithm. I don't know that science, that math,
Let's
that's
do
not
it.
my.
Also, I want to give a shout to Patreon. There's so much content over there. The Breaking Bread series. You got match previews. You got special interviews. Shouts to the interview you did with Courtney, which was amazing. And things that we got, cooking up coming in February. So just shout out, only $6 a month. Save one less coffee, one less happy hour drink, and just help us out. Continue to bring this beautiful city content to you.
Yeah, that's all we ask. Just a little bit. That our Patreon is fire, and that interview with Courtney was a lot of fun. Like we had a great time, and I just encourage you all to definitely check that out. And get engrossed in the city content that we are creating within the Shades of Blue network. Um, Also, shouts out to the homies over to Arsenal 86. Get into what they're doing if City is not your speed and you're an Arsenal supporter. You can listen to me, Mark, Deepty, and Treb over at the 12, breaking down the WSL. YFW wrestling, Grego and Crunk break it down the wrestling podcast. Like there's just so much content coming from you from the Shades of Blue network, and we are just happy to be a part of it, and we hope that you continue to rock along with us. In today's episode, we are going to go over um, city men traveling to Paris and Parc des Princes to face PSG, and I think it's pretty evident how important Ruben Diaz is for the squad. Uh, we will also we will also go over a banger of a win um, in over the weekend against Chelsea, um, vaulting us briefly into the place. We will also go over City Women having a cracker of a match against Aston Villa. And then we will preview what becomes one of my favorite weeks of the season. This week, this week right here, this is Arsenal hate week. This is Arsenal hate week. On Sunday, the women will host Arsenal women at the Joy Stadium uh, early in the morning on this side of the pond, and then later that afternoon, the men will be at the Emirates for the reverse fixture of that match. Also, in the Subway Eat Fresh Cold Cut Combo Cup for the Footlong Trophy. Not this upcoming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, the women will be playing Arsenal again. So it's a lot of Arsenal hate going on right now. So yes.
Before we go on, I just want to shout out for those that are listening to this. I'm currently wearing a purple hoodie with the 824 and 2. We were recording 2 days after the 5th anniversary of the tragic helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant, Gigi Bryant, and 6 or 7 others. That sad day in 2020, and for not just basketball fans, but just for like sports fans around the globe, it definitely is a date that is like when it comes up, it's like, wow, like you remember exactly where you were the moment you heard the news. So it's like combining that with everything that happened, with the fires earlier this month in Southern California. Just always sending, prayers and blessings to those affected, because the work's not done. So you will not hear as much anymore about Altadena, which is just as affected and ravaged as the Pacific Palisades, but far less, resourced. So please make sure if you have it to continue.
Um, Charlie had a little technical difficulties behind the scenes, but Altadena is one of the first black suburbs of LA after the Great Migration, um, where black people actually got a foothold into LA and into the West Coast. Very important to support that community. Obviously, that's a community near and dear to our hearts, and we are doing everything that we can to uplift them in this very, very trying time. Some City Girl content, right?
Circulator. It's time for the circulator. I'm gonna shake what my mama gave me.
Oh, baby blue baddies, making it heart palpitations to start off the morning. It's getting a little rough out here. So we went to the Midlands. This game was played at Villa Park against Aston Villa. Starting lineup, Yamishita in goal. Looks like she's going to be in goal for a little bit after Kiara Keating got trucked in the Leagues Cup quarterfinal. Left to right, Layla Wahhabi, Rebecca Knock, Laya Alexandri, Kirsten Kasparai, Yui Hasagawa, Jill Roard. Late scratch of Laura Coombs and Jess Park comes in to start. Up top, we got Mary Fowler, Abu Fujino, and the WSL all-time leading goal scorer, Viv Miedema. 6 minutes in, it's not looking good. City conceded a goal to Chastity Grant that really should not have been conceded. No one really marked her or anything. It looked bad. We didn't look awake. Sometimes when you get that 12 o'clock Sunday match um, on the in the UK, you worry about the team actually like being up for the match. Like, have you gotten into your day far enough to really wake up? And it didn't appear so right away. And then goal scorers do what goal scorers do. So Viv Miedema just decided that she was just going to pounce on a pass, a very bad back pass that I believe it was Danielle Turner made back to Sabrina D'Angelo, pounced on that, slotted it home, and she did it so quickly, like it almost like she got the ball, she took one touch, and then all of a sudden she was in the box, and then like she was around D'Angelo like in a flash, and then the ball was in the back of the net, and you're like, okay, cool, game on, we got this. We know what we're doing, right? Go 7 minutes later, Mary Fowler finds Viv Miedema, releases her, and Viv just a parabolic shot. Like that's the best way that I can really put it. Like just goes up and over, and D'Angelo really has no shot because she's not in a position to like stop it, or like she didn't get a good read on it. So then it's 2-1 in the 35th minute. City, maintained possession for the rest of the first half, and it's looking pretty good, right? Yes, all right. Something that we got to fix it. I don't know if it's the halftime talk. I don't know if it's the refreshments at halftime. I don't know what it is, but these first minute of the second half goals keep on happening. And we had Kirsty Hansen send in a cross that Laya Alexandri could not deal with, and she just put it into the back of her own net, and Yamishita had no prayer to stop it. And all of a sudden it's 2-2. And you're like, what the hell? I don't understand. Why is this happening? Then at that point, you're really like, okay, well, what are we gonna do to get into this match? You saw the midfield start to solidify a little bit more. Jill Roord releases Mary Fowler, and Mary Fowler has her own parabolic shot. I'm going to go ahead and just call this shout out to Sky and Sills. That was my Shea Butter Bomb of the week because it was elevated and it was, outside the box. Again, D'Angelo didn't have really a prayer at saving it. Then at that point, they make a sub to sub on another attacker, I believe. But it doesn't really matter because at that point we get another goal from Jess Park, who finishes a beautiful cross from Kirsten Kasparai. And one of the nice things about that cross is that Jess Park was the third runner, was one of three runners to get to that. So it passed Viv for the possible header. Jess Park was able to get down onto the ground on just in front of the six to get it. And if Jess Park didn't get it, Abba Fujino was right behind her at the back post to get it. So it was very well set up. At that point, it's 4-2. And then we make some subs in the 76th minute that really warmed my heart in the fact that not only do we see the return of Bunny Shaw to action, but we also see the debut of Caroline Nicoli on for Abba Fujino. They look good. Get some more subs later in the match. Laura Blinkilde-Brown comes in for Jill Roard, and we actually have somebody that can sub in for Yui. It was great. Emu Oyama came in the 84th minute, closed out the match, put us again 4-2. We're able to take out Aston Villa, who had really been on a strong run of form since inserting Sean Goder as the interim manager. We do know that he did not get the permanent job that went to Rebecca Arroyo of formerly, excuse me, of Real Sociedad. I know she has been mentioned in conversations that I've had with other Woso fans as really underrated coaches. It'll be interesting to see what she does. You kind of wonder if Sean Goder had a little bit more time on task as far as like him knowing more in the ins and outs of Villa's program, if maybe he would have gotten the top job. That win, along with another result in the WSL season, put City back into third place in the WSL table. So they are now in the qualification rounds. Would be qualifying for UWCL places. 2 points behind United, 9 points behind Chelsea, 1 point ahead of Arsenal, who we will face on the weekend, as we discussed. That match will be at the Joy Stadium. Kind of previewing that match, it's interesting because just like last week, you have the same opponent in two different competitions, and you were kind of wondering how Renee Slagers, the newly appointed Arsenal manager, will approach that particular match. I'm wondering. Arsenal just made an announcement today that they, or no, excuse me. It has been reported today, at the time of our recording, that Arsenal is signing USWNT fullback Jenna Neiswanger to a deal. Which is interesting because she has played midfield in college, which would maybe fit more as a Kim Little replacement. That stated, you could also see a situation where that means that they move Katie McCabe higher up the pitch, or they move Steph Catley inside to actually play center back, which that I wouldn't do that personally, but if that's what Arsenal chooses to do, that more power to them. I will be interested to see what their lineup looks like. They obviously started their strongest lineup against Chelsea at the weekend, with quite a bit of rotation, mainly because, and they had that rotation mainly because they actually do play an FA Cup match this week. So they truly will be playing like 4 matches over the span of 10 days. So City will have that rest advantage over them. So it's just how they will be able to pull out that depth, and it probably will see more of that in the second match in the Leagues Cup versus in the league match.
So now that we've had the subs, I would say we have a healthy, 5 attackers, right? How do you want to see Gareth deploy that front three in the first match? And then what do you want to see for the second match?
So I think for the first match, I don't think that you're probably not going to see Bunny start, but I would like to see Viv go ahead and start up top. That stated, I would also like to see Caro start alongside Viv, and kind of maybe Caro give us a full 20, or excuse me, a full 90 at that point, and then Mary Fowler start on the left. And then one of the nice things about Caro is that she's adaptable enough that she can play both wings. I think that we talked about it in the last episode. Mary Fowler is so much more effective and so much more dangerous on the right than she is on the left. And I'm really hoping that we're able to take more advantage, because even the goal that she scored, she was on the right when she scored the goal in this last match. So you just really hope that the manager's taking those notes. And no player is truly going to be Lauren Hemp besides Lauren Hemp. And, we wish her well, and we cannot wait for her to come back into training. But it sounds like that's going to be a little ways off. So you're going to have to kind of piecemeal that together. Now, what I would say is that depending on Bunny's fitness and how the match goes in the league, it would be nice to see Bunny being like a halftime sub in the league match, and then starting, even if it's just for 45 minutes in the League's Cup match. And so basically, those striker minutes are divided pretty evenly, but all of that's going to depend on Bunny's health. I'm assuming that most likely we're probably going to see Aba Fujino start one of these two matches. I am hoping, for the team's sake, that it's going to be more of it would be more the League's Cup match than the league match. I'm not sure that Aba Fujino is really ready for everything that the league is ready to throw at her at this point. And I'm not saying that to bash the player. I'm saying that because she's 20, and we'll talk about a different 20-year-old later, and sometimes the moment is too big for them. I think that the moment right now might be too big for her. That's not to say that she won't grow into that. Just like when Mary came to the club, the moment was too big for her right then. But I think we will probably see her start now. Now, one of the things that will be interesting in this particular match is that Jenna Neiswanger might have to start this match immediately because Katie McCabe got a red card, and we will talk about that later. That is for something for later in the show. But she might have to start almost immediately. So I would think that you would want someone that has more experience, even if it's not more experience in the system, more just player experience against someone who is newer to a system and is trying to figure out the ins and outs of what Renee wants to do tactically.
I love the point you made about Carolyn getting that start because her position in this team in the women's side is, again, same city, same passion, is very similar to Mamouche, where
Mhm.
you have a player that is extremely flexible, um, is literally the same age, both 25, so both pros. They've played many years professionally, like they've done it in different leagues and international play, like so you can slot that. A forward is so much easier to slot in. I think obviously forwards and defenders pretty simple to slot in. You know your job, either go score, stop score. Midfielders get very, it's really tough. But you put Carolyn beside Viv, let Mary be on the right. I'll go to war with that. And like you say, if something goes wrong, you obviously do have Alba who can come in and spell her, because we don't know fitness levels, right? Like it has been a while, so maybe she can only give 60. But who knows? But I definitely want to see that front three. And then let's be real, the league match to me, the WSL match is far more important than the League Cup match. If I had to
Yes.
say which one, if God's be good, I don't want to lose either. But if I had to lose one, get me out of the League Cup. I don't care about the Fresh Cup. We need those 3 points. We need some distance between Arsenal. We want to keep our Champions League. We want to go back-to-back seasons in Champions League. So I think like Gareth has to get it right. And it's hard to get it wrong, but like you said, Alba, great sub. I don't think she's ready. We've seen that she's not there as a starter level, especially when we talk about trying to replace Lauren Hemp. You need somebody that is a more seasoned professional, and that's why they went out and spent the money to get Carolyn. So, man, what you got for prediction? for the first match
For
at
the
the Joy.
league
At the
match
Joy.
at the Joy, for the league match, I do have a W for that match. I got that one 2-1. I just feel like without Katie McCabe, Arsenal loses a little bit of the bite that they have as a club, and there's no one player that's going to be able to replace that. They have to do that collectively, and I would assume that it would be a 3-match ban. So she would be suspended for Bristol City, the league match against us, and then the league's cups match against us as well. That one I actually have us winning 3-1. And the reason that I say 3-1 is that I think at that point Arsenal's just going to be tired. Like, even though that match is at home, like, you know, they've already played Chelsea on this past Sunday. They have to play Bristol City on Wednesday in the FA Cup. They play us on Sunday, and then we'll play again on Wednesday. Just that congestion of fixtures. They don't have enough bodies to put at the problem. Now, what I will say is that we will need someone to spell one of our fullbacks, whether that be Gracie Pryor coming in and playing fullback out of position, whether that be Naomi Lazelle
I
coming
like
back.
Lizelle a lot.
I do
I don't know if
too.
it's her name, but I think like her build, her like physique, like yeah, she works for me. She almost is what Esme Morgan was supposed to be. I feel
Hmm.
like,
Yes.
and it's just a little bit better profile, a little bit more pace.
Hmm.
I like what I've seen out of her so far.
And you really just hope that she can get healthy and get out back on the pitch. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for her. Right now, we just got the 2 center backs, so we gonna ride them till the wheels fall off. um, so unless maybe Gareth does some interesting 3 at the back sort of configurations, which I don't necessarily foresee. Um, uh, but I definitely am excited to see these matches. I got an Arsenal sweep coming up next week, and I really just cannot wait to see it, honestly. So um, it's going to depend a lot on Gareth's deployment of players, but I don't think that that's necessarily going to be. I think he will have more experience doing that than Renee has currently, and that's not to shade Renee. That's just a fact. Like, he's got more experience at the job.
And with that experience, 100 matches, 100 wins now, right in the WSL.
100 matches, yeah. Like
100
that.
matches, sorry, yeah. So great win percentage, like one of the best in history. This is like me and GT, we've been locked in since the beginning of Shades of Blue.
Yes, you have.
Um,
Yes, you have.
my guy been riding for my man's, Mr. I like to sit in the stands, but hey, and this is the thing about whenever you choose to become a supporter of a time, because if you don't have the same connection to a previous iteration of the side, it doesn't hit the same. So
Right.
everything that y'all were feeling about him, I definitely get it. And for me, it was like, I'm going off what I see now. We looking good. I like the front 3. It's rolling. We scoring goals. That's what I want. And now he's got his players. Like, this squad has his imprint all on it. Of course, you had a couple of sporting directors. Shouts to Niels. Shouts to the current SD who's come in and got the Caroline deal done. Got Oyama. Got a bunch of players. So the club is his, and now it's just like, hey, there are no excuses, right? Like, we know the standard is Champions League qualification. We get that 3rd spot. Top 3 is all you need. We're not going to be Chelsea this year. They might pull an invincible year. We hopefully can spoil it, but we ain't catching them. So you got to lock down Champions League positioning, and obviously get healthy for when we get into the knockout rounds of the actual Champions League this season. So I hope Gareth is ready for this 2025 iteration of the club.
I think that the funniest possible thing that could happen for City is for City to be paired with Chelsea in the Champions League, City to advance in the Eat Fresh Cup, and Chelsea's most likely going to advance against West Ham. Like that. Let's just call that
I
what it
would
is.
bet my salary,
Yes.
every single penny that is earned, that is due to me in 2025, that Chelsea beats West Ham. Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
hmm So the funniest possible outcome would be probably for City to beat Chelsea in the knockouts of the Champions League and advance, beat them in the Eat Fresh Cup, but not win against them in the league. That would be the funniest possible outcome. And I think no, I would say I think both supporters of both teams would be okay with that, but like I think that Chelsea fans would gladly give up the league to win the Champions League this season.
Oh hell yeah, they want that CL bad. They are in the same position that City men were in. You
hmm
won the league a bunch. When you gonna get that big one?
Yeah,
When you gonna
exactly.
the way we had to take down Real Madrid, the same way they got to take down Barca. So to be the best, you
Or
got to
Le-
beat the best.
or Leon,
Or Leon,
honestly.
or Leon.
Like
Yeah,
that
one of the two that's
means
won it that
one
you haven't.
exactly.
So time to get big,
So
Chelsea. Good luck.
yeah.
I'm talking to you, Mark. This is me talking to Mark. Like
Yes.
I texted him. I literally hit him up on Instagram. My jealousy for you is so great because when they got Naomi Gurma, I was like, wow, this is the jealousy that was in the Bible. I mean, the greed that
Yeah.
was in the
The
Bible, and
greed
now
that
I
was
have
in the
that
Bible.
jealousy that's in the Bible,
Absolutely.
and I have that
Ab-
that biblical jealousy now. Because
yes.
someone you love goes somewhere you hate. It's terrible.
I will
It's
say
like seeing
this.
your friend date a trash man. Like you know
hmm
he ain't no good. You
Right.
know it, and here you go over
You
here
go right.
because he got a flashy car.
I will say this. I'm just happy from the perspective of the U.S. Women's National Team. I'm just happy that that Naomi Gurma does not have to deal with Jonas Eidevall, and that is all that I will have to say on that particular match.
That's a great
Um,
segue.
um so I guess we got to talk about this PSG match. Let's listen to what Pep thought about this PSG match after it happened.
They were better. People suffer and the players suffer, and they were better. They were better in intensity to win duels, and of course, we found our moment with 0-2 for the goals. But the first half, they have one chance, they have two chances clear. When they had the ball, they drop us, but also we could have the ball. Always we created problems to them. But at the 0-2 and especially 1-2, we could not play. We could not play, and to defend the Baddies, we had to play with the ball. They were better, have an extra man in the middle for the false nine, and that's why it was difficult to cope, to jump. We have the last chance at home against Brugge. We will do everything there, and if it's not, it's because we don't deserve it. So we have away tough games, but of course the game against Inter, especially in Feyenoord, they put it in that position, but it's not about just that. We can qualify, but we have to, of course, after that, you have to recover players and do it better. So it's simple as that. So they were better, have to accept it. In sport, it's like that.
In sports, it's like that. Jesus. So I'll be honest. Like I did not watch much of the first half of this match. I was watching the Eat Fresh Derby against Man United and watching the women pull that out. I did not watch much of the first match. What I did find when I did finally turn on that match, what I saw was Bradley Barcola running over, around, in circles around, through Matthias Nunes, and all I could think of is like that ain't he ain't no right back. What what
Tom,
you
and that here's the thing, right? So I think we can just hop right into it because it's been so long, whatever. City get two great goals. I don't know how they happen. Somehow Jack Grealish finishes something. God's be good. First
hey
meaningful goal in over a year.
a run of play goal at that.
Let's say a runner play goal. We had the penalty and against Salford. Now we get the runner play. So great goal. We needed it. It put us up 1-0. And then right away you get a second goal. So it's like, okay, we're up 2. I think that was when Newts got a little too much dip on his chip. Because before that, he was being more cautious. He wasn't trying to press this young winger who can do everything. He was playing him to a stalemate. There was at one time, it reminded me very much of Fernandinho in the Champions League a few years ago, where you go up against Vinny and then he turned that man so fast, and he went up against Barcola and Barcola said bye bye. Bradley went bye bye. And Bradley's very fast, and he kept being very fast, and all of a sudden Dembele scores. And Tom, I know your favorite area of the pitch is the midfield. So I just want to give you some numbers. Okay, are you ready for these numbers?
Let's do it.
PSG side, Fabian Ruiz, Spanish Euro winner. Like great midfielder, 28 years old. He's the old one in their three. Then you have Vitinha, Portuguese, 24. And then you have baby João Neves, 20. For those that can't do math, that is an average age of 24 years old in the midfield. Who did City put out in the midfield, Tom? Tell me. You know, I'm going to say it for you. 30-year-old Kovacic, 30-year-old Bernardo, 33-year-old KDB. So you got an average age of 24. You got an average age of 31. Football ain't that complex, dog. It really ain't. And when you run it like that, plus you throw in Hakimi and Mendes as fullbacks with Marquinhos, and I mean I hadn't watched any PSG for real this year, but Pacho a real one. He a bully.
Yeah.
Like that back seven is strong. They real strong.
And then like you make a halftime sub and bring Savinho off to bring Rico on, thinking that, oh, my average midfield age is, 31 essentially. Let's, get some youth, some young legs in there. And on the Dembele goal, like Rico again gets lost in space because there was no one over his shoulder, and he checks over his shoulder. So by the time that Barcola gets to the byline and cuts it back to Dembele, there's no one marking Dembele, and you're like, but why does Rico, like, there's no immediate danger over Rico's shoulder? Why does he not go to mark Dembele?
Why is Rico on the pitch? It's a very much like an Alba Fugino situation. Because, well, I think with her, at least she's in her right position. We kind of got away for a while, starting Rico as a defender who could play the Cancelo role, right? He blends up because he is a midfielder by trade, by nature. If that man's not playing as an 8, I don't want him anywhere near the defense. It's like in the playoffs in the NBA when you have a small guard, like think about Trae Young, and you can pick on Trae Young for 6, 7 games.
Right. Post
You're
him
gonna
up.
get what
Yeah.
you want. He's food out there. Get that switch, big man going at you. You got a double, everybody getting wide open shots. Like it's a very simple. Sports are very simple, and so when you put a little tiny top back there against these big, like Dembele is in form. Like
Yes.
Pep's judgment has to be discussed to not think about even if you leave Dembele, if it's not Dembele, it's somebody else. Like, but Rico wasn't ready for those wingers.
No.
He's not. Like he is ready to play in the matches where people are sitting back against us deep, and they got 2 banks of 5, and we got down great. Get in the pocket, you just become an extra midfielder. Cool. He is not ready for the matches that are up and down. He doesn't have it, and I love him. I respect him. I want to see him stay with the club, of course, but Rico is a squad player. He is not a player that I believe needs to be into a not a must win, but a really you want to win Champions League match. And so, we'll get to the next match, but I just thought that like that didn't put Rico in the best position to be successful. But he wasn't the only problem, right? Like the midfield didn't get it got younger, and then it didn't help because once they scored, Park the Prince went crazy, and you could feel it coming. We've seen cities do it many times this year. We know what will happen.
Okay, it was a combination of two things. Like, I got the notification that Ruben Diaz was subbed out at halftime. I was like, ooh, that's a problem. That's a problem. And as soon as Dembele scored this first goal, I was like, City is not winning this match. Like, they might draw, maybe, but they're not winning this match. And then the second goal, like that Barcola scored. Um, again, questioning Pep's judgment, like, why are you leaving Nunes on that long? Like, because again, he got again, and this time, Barcola just decided that he was going to take the shot as opposed to cut it back to a wide open Dembele.
Hey Tom, you know a player that would have been really, really helpful for the side in this type of match?
Um, would you be talking about the former club captain Kyle Walker?
I would. I would,
Okay.
because you know what he does really well for all his faults on and off the pitch? The man can defend. He
Mhm.
he's made a whole career out of it. He's the greatest right back in Premier League history. He has stopped Vinicius. He has stopped Mbappe. He has shut down Neymar. Like he's gone up against the greats. His sheer strength at this age. You get that grown man strength against
Yep.
Bradley Barcola. And I think what I really want to say, because I ordered a shirt, the away jersey, my last Kyle Walker shirt, is the City supporters won't take any accountability for what they did to that man. And I will repeat it again because that's the beauty of our show and having this space. You cannot put out, as a supporter of a club, a racist meme about one of your players. That man had every right to get out of there. He already tried to go to Bayern, kept talking down off the ledge, said, you know what, stay. He won as a captain. It was beautiful. All right, let's run it back, see what we can do. Rough season for everybody, not just Kyle Walker. Gundo's been rough. You know, center backs can't stay healthy. The team's been injured the first half of the year. Things happen. Played when he wasn't supposed to, whatever. But if things were different, and I truly believe in my heart, if that meme doesn't get created, there's a way for him to say, you know what, I could see out this year and I could leave in the summer. Let's see what we can do in Champions League. Maybe we go get another big one. League's out of reach, but we can go get some more trophies somewhere else, whatever. But that man would have been not maybe we don't win the game, but to have another body, because you could put him in instead of Rico,
Mm-hmm.
right? You could do, we seen him kind of shore up things in that type of situation. So I just want to make this the last time that I personally bring it up because I know we got to move on. But yeah, I really miss Kyle Walker because as it started to fall apart, I was like, man, we really need a fullback. Would have
Yeah,
been nice.
real bad.
Mhm.
So instead of a fullback, we decided to put out Mr. Glass. I mean John Stones, um, for Matthias Nunes, and I cannot, I can't replicate the laugh that I let out in my office, um, seeing that immediately after John Stones was subbed in, that City let in a set piece goal where he basically lost Neves. Like Neves was he was nowhere around Neves to be found, and Neves was his attacker to mark. Um,
Mhm.
also, this is applicable across all sports. Shout out to Bomani Jones. Zone is for cowards, and that includes zonal marking. It is for cowards. Leave it alone. Please no mas. Um, but I laughed. I laughed a good hearty laugh when City let in that goal. Because at that point it was just like I can't invest anymore in this. And then I guess Ramos had been subbed in the 61st minute, and he also scored in stoppage time, making it 4-2.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I turned it off by
so
then. I said it's done.
yeah,
It's over.
yeah, it's over. So that allowed PSG to jump City into 22nd place. Um, so City is going to have to win against Club Brugge on Wednesday, which is the next match. Oof, that they might need to win, and they might need to get some help on
No, we
top
don't.
of
No, we don't.
winning.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
You
No,
know?
no. We are 100% good. So what's gonna happen is this, right? Club Brugge is currently in 20th position with 11 points. We have 8. So and already before this match, they have a -2 goal difference. We have a +2 goal difference. So our win knocks them out. like we automatically jump them, right? Because we would have 11 plus a better goal difference. They've only scored 6 goals in their 7 Champions League matches. Um, it's set up for us, and of course, we would have loved to have been top 8 and not even have to worry about a playoff, and because that becomes now for those that don't know, seeds 9 through 24 go into a 2-leg tie to make it to the final 16.
Which is exactly what this City team needs, is to play 2 more matches.
But you know what, Tom? Heard the sarcasm, but I actually think it is what we need. No, seriously, because in a one-off, I don't know if we would beat this next opponent, because it could rank for anybody as small a club as PSV or Lille, or shouts to Brest, or it could be a big club like we could get Bayern or Real Madrid. So like if we want to continue and get closer to that big trophy again, 2 and 3 years, I think we need the opportunity. So I'm excited for Brugge. Like I think, as we'll talk about now, like what we saw over the weekend after the women played was extremely positive. So I think the vibes are right. Now we will not be able to see the new signings, because for this stage because it's already in league phase, you can't have any new signings play. They have to play in the playoff. But I do think we're starting to click. So what's your prediction for this final league phase match?
I got 3-2 with the stoppage time winner. And
he's going real tight.
Yes.
He's getting a lot of love to Club Brugge over here. That's crazy, son.
I mean, it's something about like the team has to like put it all together, and while yes, like having the performance in the league that that they had is encouraging over the weekend, but like I'm not sure that City has done the best job of respecting all of their Champions League opponents, and I think that is shown in the results. And I think that that's why we might see something a little wonky, shall we say?
Yeah, I feel like mistakes were learned. From Sporting whooping our ass to Feyenoord coming back. This is a final, and I love that Pep says this, right? He's like, it's a final. This is a final. It's a win or go home match. Yeah. And being at the Etihad definitely gives me joy. So I have us doing the same thing that we did to Chelsea, which is a 3-1 win. 3-1. Erling Haaland gets a brace. Because that man he wants all the CL records. He wants all the smoke. So yeah, I think we go hard, and then we see who we get in the playoffs.
Well, speaking of staying at the Etihad, there have been several rumors that one James McAtee is been offered to go on loan to several Bundesliga squads. And Pep was asked about that prior to the Chelsea match. And here's what he had to say.
I would love to stay here. I repeat the game, so it was not the last 4 or 5 months in Sheffield, quite often playing. And I was the one who relied on him to stay, to come back. So I want him to stay. But what's going to happen, like in the potential new coming, so I don't know.
I mean, he's got to stay. He's got to stay just so that I can continue the agenda. That's that. Like for me and alone, like Pep, keep him on the squad. Pep also had some thoughts on the new signing, Omar Mamouche and Kushnov.
Yeah, good. So we didn't train much because games travels. So we didn't make training session all together. I think they didn't make once. Omar, Mamouche, yes, it was the first, and the other ones trained a little bit, but not all together. Fine. Victor is young, have a huge personality, need time, and Kuzanov is already settled. And for the fact that playing a French league, like handle with the tough, quick, fast players. But of course, he doesn't speak much English, not French. So communication will be one of the situations that we have to deal with. And Omar, yes, it was the training sessions, the first training. So I think he will adapt quick.
Should we talk about it? Should we just get into it?
Let's get into it, man. You have permission to make mistakes. You have permission to make mistakes.
I don't know if any City player has had a rough first 3 minutes and 30 seconds than Abdikir Kushinov did playing at home in front of the Etihad fans against Chelsea. Tried to make a header to Ederson so Ederson could play the ball with his hands, and that did not go the way that he thought that it was going to go because Madueke jumped on that shit and immediately put it in the back of the net because there was nothing that Eddie was going to be able to do to stop that. He also got a red card in the 4th minute of the match. So that kind of hamstrung what he was able to do. I think I didn't get a chance to watch the watch along with you guys, but I really would be interested to like what were your thoughts on him starting next to Akanji versus a different defender to start him alongside?
Well, my thoughts were this. It was out of necessity, right? We can't trust John Stones to stay healthy. You don't have Nathan Ake, you don't have Ruben Diaz. There's an argument that you could have put Vardiol there, right? So Vardiol's on the left, Akanji's on the right as center backs, and then you put Rico at left back. But again, I think Pep saw the PSG match and said, I'm not going to put Rico in that position as a fullback going against Tony Mariake. So I feel like it had to happen. And like, again, it's not the best situation, but just because of health, I think it was a necessity. It wasn't like, I think Pep had to do it like one eye tied behind his back and the other with one hand over his eye. Like, just, I don't like the way this is going to go, but I got to do it. Now I will say this. I wish Crump could clip it, Tom, but the discussion that me and Tarek, and I say discussion loosely, that me and Tarek had about this because Tarek hopped on at halftime, and boy, it was heated, bro. It was real because Tarek loves the academy players, and his whole point was like, you have Simpson Pussy, and why would you bring in this player? And even if he's better long term, JSP's been there, he's ready. And I was like, and he said that point a few times, but my whole thing was like, we just have to accept who Pep rates and doesn't rate. Like he wasn't even in the squad before this match. Like he's been out of the squad for the last 2 matches. So there is you haven't met whatever standard Pep has for defenders. This is not being met, or else you don't go out and buy an 18-year-old. You don't go out and buy a 20-year-old. You just say, hey, we got the guy. Let's do it. Right. So I feel like that, and eventually, like, we come back and it's all good, whatever. But it was just like, there are 2 very strong opinions in the City sphere about should he have started or not. So, hey, you would love to have a perfect world, but we don't live in that.
What a perfect segue, because we actually have a clip of Pep saying that the young man should not have started.
Kusanov should not have played. Have take time to do it. So it's not easy. And Chelsea in the Premier League, come from another country and not communicate much with the mates and arrive, no training sessions to see what you want to do, what the process you want to have, and the other one. So it's not easy starting the way you start. So you imagine all of us live what Kusanov have lived, and happen what happened will be, oh God. So, but yeah, the situation, Ruben is not there, Nathan neither, so that's why we are lucky that Manu stay and John can help us for our final Wednesday.
And also to that point, I want to say that the rebound, we call it like, having amnesia is like a quarterback in American football, right? Football. It's like he had that bad mistake. Bernardo comes back, kind of like he made a bad pass, and after that, Bernardo comes and settle him down, whatever. He helps him with the build up. But he actually is the reason we didn't have 2-0. We didn't go down 2-0. So even after he made the first mistake by not using his feet and chose to do a bad header, he was able to get back in position and stop that shot. I think it was from Cole Palmer after, Cole squared it to Jackson. Jackson got it back to Cole. Kadir got back in position and, got it out of there. And after that, you saw him grow into the game so much that even as his last action, he had a nice little shoulder check of a Chelsea attacker. Was able to get the ball off him, and then he got subbed off right after to applause, because that's how you do it, United supporters. You don't just berate your own players when they make mistakes when they're
especially
young.
especially a young player. Like I
20
had
years old.
hats off to the the crowd at the Etihad, like giving that young man a round of applause as he was exiting. You saw it in his face, like he was trying to, hold it together, but like I think Graham Lasso said it, like the eyes kind of tell it all. Like he was probably holding back a little bit of tears. He was probably
Yeah.
dis- disappointed with his performance, and his dis- his performance did not necessarily mean that the player like that the match was lost. Which I
Mhm.
really appreciated is that his teammates came and picked him up, and I thought that it was interesting that the initial goal that was scored um, essentially was fullback to fullback, in that Matthias Nunes assisted the Jasko Vardiol goal. And so it was like the back line themselves um, picked up, was like, hey, young blood, we got you. Like, we got you, kid. Like, we're still gonna do this together. Um, so we go into halftime 1-1. Um, I did not think that Chelsea really looked that dangerous. I also didn't necessarily think that we looked particularly dangerous. Second half starts, and we see a a new tactic, um, but we show a new tactic for Pep, but a tactic that has been part of the game of footy since the game of footy has existed. Good old Route One football. And sometimes you wonder why we don't play more Route One football, just in that, like, we have a very big striker who's very fast. Um,
Very
sometimes,
athletic. Very athletic.
yes,
Just
yeah,
jumps,
like,
runs, does it all.
and so the second goal is a result of that, like him just being young, fast, athletic, and um, running past the Chelsea defense. Minus Wesley Fofana, obviously, due to injury, and just putting the ball in the back of the net.
Oh, two things with that, right? The first is, this is another reason why Ederson is the clear number one. We know this, right? Whatever. But Chelsea went man to man. When you go man to man, that means that Erling Haaland's being guarded by skinny Trevor Chalobah. Erling Haaland is far stronger than Trevor Chalobah. Trevor Chalobah was a big lad, as they say, and he's strong, but he's not ready. He's not Van Dyke big. He's not Rudiger strong. It's
Mhm.
levels. Those are the players, Saliba, Gabriel, like monsters give Erling trouble because they're equal. Chalobah's not his equal. And so the way he was able to spin off, and that didn't make the goal, right? What made the goal was the stupidity of one Robert Sanchez. That's his name, right? Sanchez, right? the goalkeeper for Chelsea.
Yes,
I think that's his
yes.
name. Okay, just making sure. I think so. But he ran out into no man's land and looked lost for no reason, bro. No reason
But
at all.
when I watched the goal, I said under my breath, was like, "Oh, he must be watching that Kiera Keating teach tape, just getting getting lost in the box."
Bruh. I was like, this is crazy. And now credit to Erling. There are people that missed that shot.
Oh
It
yeah.
wasn't a give me. He had to actually put the right, lift on it. He had to not put it too high. And it went in. And it was a beautiful finish. Like it was a great shot. It was a match winner to put us up 2-1 in the 68th minute. But I will say this time, you said something like you didn't like the way we looked in the first half. I thought even though we didn't finish some chances, you could see that we were breaking down Chelsea's back like high line. Right. You had the run in from Yasko when he tried to do a toe poke and missed. You had the setup where I think it was Vardiol again. They got the crossover to Omar Mamouche in his
Mhm.
debut, who also just was offside, right? Because he was too fast,
Right.
too quick. But I thought that like we started to Mamouche's runs, his work without the ball freed up
Yes.
so much, and Pep slid him over. So that's why Vardiol had all that space,
Mhm.
and it literally is what led to that first goal because he actually like I think Maresca had to switch and like tell Madueke to drop back to defend, and then
Mhm.
Madueke played him on side. Nunes gets the run. He was there to finish it up at the end. But it's like it was beautiful to see. I think Vardiol is one of the two best left backs in Premier League with Anthony Robinson.
Mhm.
He is starting to come into the peak of his powers after a rough
Yep.
start to the year, like most people in the club. He's back the way he finished last year. And then Nunes, those fullbacks were fullbacking, full pitch, up and
Yep.
down. And
Mhm.
Chelsea had no answers. So it was nice to go up 2-1. And then Tom, what happened? How did we finish the match, Tom?
Oh, I the last goal that we scored was truly orgasmic because you get that long ball to Erling Haaland, and I think that we've talked about Phil not necessarily running off of Haaland the way that he has in the past, but this time he did, and Haaland was able to lay the ball out to him into Phil's path, and it was like the Chelsea defenders didn't know what to do at that point. And and he still had some work to do as well. He still had to beat Sanchez near post, and he was able to do that. But I think that was the total team goal you had really seen missing in this. I think sometimes you kind of wonder if Pep is just going to be like, I'm going to play my system. We're going to play this way, as opposed to adjusting to the opponent as the opponent comes in. We actually have a clip from Pep about playing long in the second half.
Okay, no, it wasn't most of the time. The first half didn't happen. I think Kova, Gundo, and Bernardo were the ball, and Bernardo was unbelievable. Help us, to roll the process. But the second half, they made more aggressive than man to man. When it's man to man, if they jump to the keeper, you can make a 2-against-1 with the keeper. But when it doesn't happen, you have to play with Erling. Because you win that ball, it's a chance.
Charlie broke it down before we actually even got to hear Pep say it. But when you go man to man, it's gonna leave Erling Haaland on that one center back, and we know that Chalobah doesn't have the manpower, quite literally, to mark him. And so that's why you see the two goals that he scored or assisted on, which I think that goes to the point of what we see on the pitch. I do actually also want to play a clip from Erling Haaland on the young defender's early mistake.
No, it's that early that it's almost like, okay, we have to start with minus 1 goal, like we did it quite a few times. Even Brentford scored after, even earlier. This can happen, but it's about keep going, because we've done it so many times before, turn it around, especially here at home. We know how confident we are and everything. So it's about keep going and to try to have peace in mind in your head. That's really what matters.
And as Erlen said, he's a vet now, right? Third season at the club. He's won everything. You got vets on the pitch. They're not gonna be like, oh my God, how are we gonna win? It's like, okay, he made a mistake. And right away, Ederson was there. And I obviously I know what he said, but he was motioning like, hey, it's okay, keep your head up. Like, it's good. Bernardo did the thing where he came back and like took some pressure off of him, told him, like, move off to the side, I got you. Like, that's what veterans do. That's what multiple Premier League treble winning players do. You are able to help a kid out that is in the worst position he's ever thought. That man got a whole country on his back, bro. It's not just a player in the league. You bring your country to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that could ever happen for a country that is a millennial. That's a millennial country, just founded in 1991. Like,
Exactly.
it's huge. And so that's where I think you saw the emotion in the eyes. It wasn't I just made a mistake. Like, I'll let my country down right now.
Right.
And so credit to everybody rising up against him. And, that's what you do as a club. Like, if you're on the pitch, you make a mistake, I got you. There's no point in arguing. You can't change the past.
Right.
You just got to make sure. And now, to Chelsea part, let's laugh at them a little bit. You knew you had a target out there the whole rest of the first half, and you couldn't exploit it
at all.
There was
at all.
There was nothing that happened after the 10th minute that put any fear in Kusanov, or any fear in any supporter. It was like, okay, well, that was their best shot. After that little 2-on-1 break, it was over. And we locked them down. And so, as bad as it was to give up that goal early, we went 87 minutes without giving up another one. And so I would definitely take that positive and ride that into the Club Brugge match on Wednesday.
Let's hear what the gaffer had to say about the match as a whole.
Well, what I thought is not the best start, right? You will take a lesson. He's so young, come for many years. It's not the best start, of course, but deal with Jackson, with Cole, with all these type of incredible players, not easy. And I love the reaction of his mates. He didn't make one training session with us. He didn't make absolutely anything because we come from Ipswich Town and Paris, another one. So it was just recovery. And he will learn. So he's young, he will learn. I'm pretty sure. Take a lesson for that. After emotionally, we come back. And we come back not being, I would say, maybe exceptional, but we take the ball a lot, so a lot of passes, and we miss a little bit with the high line from Chelsea. Gundo Okoba or Bernardo, especially Gundo Okoba, have a little bit more balls to Omar, to Mamouche and Erling, because the space was there behind, but didn't find him for that reason as well. So they don't know the movement of Mamouche, not yet, so question of time.
Yeah, that Marmouche movement was like, you're right, Charlie. Like, I think once he gets the timing down with, like, especially with the back line, like, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with in this league. And I think
Can you imagine him playing with KDB?
When
KDB can pick him out. Come on, dog. You already know what's coming, bro. Now you got 2 runners in the box. You got 7, you got 9. And God, we got a 7. We got a real 7, Tom.
A real 7.
It matters. It matters. João Cancelo should have never got that shirt. And I'm glad that wrong was right.
NBC Sports, work on your shit.
Shouts to Cancelo. They can't let it go. They can't let it go.
Work on your shit now.
Great clip. I'm so glad Crumb got that. That was hilarious.
Hey, I am too.
We're back in the top 4, baby. Back in the top 4.
Back in the top 4. Going against someone else in the top 4 who
number 2.
Exactly, but they have been struggle bussing of late. That would be Arsenal. It's Arsenal hate week.
Okay, I will say this, Tom. They have only had 1 loss since December. We've been struggle bussing. They've been struggling. It ain't been pretty. But again, they only got that 1 loss to Newcastle. And I was looking for red on FotMob, and it takes a long time. don't lose. They draw so much.
They lost.
That's
They
what it is.
lost to They lost to United on pins. I'm counting that.
Oh, that is the loss. Okay, I forgot about that. Okay, that's right. That did happen. The pins. Yeah. Okay. So they had back-to-back losses. It was draw, loss, win.
The
draw,
way
draw, win.
and the way that they lost to Villa.
Well, they drew to Villa, right? They gave up the 2. They gave.
Yes,
they lost.
like they they lost. They dropped 2 points. Yeah, it feels like a loss. The way that they dropped.
It was a copycat. They want to be like City so bad, bro. That was what we did at Brentford. It's the same thing. They literally want to be us. Like, do your own thing. Come on, we give up leads. Children.
I guess.
Can we take an OG SOB? Can we do a predicted 11? I haven't done one of these in so long.
11. Ooh,
for us. Like,
okay.
Who you think he started? We got a full week off.
No,
we don't. We got 3 days off from Brugge. Yeah, 3 days. So you got to think about the Brugge match, but you also got to like realize like we need this going to the Emirates.
Okay.
I think you got to roll out the heavy hitters.
I think Holland starts.
Of course.
I think Savinho starts.
Okay, good shout. On the left.
Yeah, I think Marmoush starts.
Ooh, okay. Because he can't play. He's fresh. He's ready. Yeah.
Yep. I think the midfield is going to be Foden.
Whoa. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Foden, Kovacic. I want to say KDB so bad, but I don't think he's going to do it.
Back-to-back games. He did it once. He did it last week. He couldn't play 3 in a row, so that's why he rested against Chelsea. Here's what I got for that front 3. As you said, it hit me. Because Marmoush can't play midweek, that probably means Savinho will start.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder if Pep wants to see Savinho twice on 3 days, like in 3 days rest, or if he says, let me just now rotate. I get Savinho in Champions League. I get Marmoush on the left. And we let Phil and Holland start both.
Okay.
That I could see it going that way just because of the fact that, like, if you don't have to put him out now that we have Marmoush, why run him twice? The midfield is the question. Do you do Kova, Gundo? Bernardo's going to play both. We know that. Bernardo's going to play both. His engine is necessity. So it's like, do you do Kova and KDB as the other 2? Or for both matches? Or do you do Gundo and KDB in a second match? I think Kova plays against Club Brugge. This is hard.
I think
old niggas out here.
I think Gundo's going to end up starting the Club Brugge match, and then KDB will probably start the Arsenal match. Even though, like, yes, it is a final, but I don't think that Pep is going to run out the players that would be playing in a final, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. You need to win, and you don't need to. If you can save legs. You put Kevin on as a sub again. That's 60 to 70 minute sub if needed. Up 2-0. Let's lock it down. Get some legs out. The back line. Now, this is the question. Does Mr. Glass, aka John Stone, start? The back line might be harder to predict because we don't know about fitness. Like, we don't know if Ake is going to be there. Like, Akanji and Vardy all locks. Like, they will start. I think there's a fair argument that Newts is a lock at right back at this point. He's the best one we got. So it comes down to that 4th defender. And is it going to be Stones? Is it going to be Kuzanov? And I don't know. And if he can start against Chelsea, he'll have more time. He'll have that. I think Chelsea's attack is more dangerous than Arsenal's.
I would agree.
So
I would agree with that.
On the road, do you want him to go to the Emirates and do that? But, like, again, you buy players for a reason. And John Stones can't go. He can't give you 290s. So maybe the plan is like start Stones both and then sub them out at halftime to get fresh legs in.
I guess, but who? The question then becomes who? If he starts, who do you sub him? Like, who do you sub in for him?
I think you sub in Kuzanov if he starts. Or the midweek. Maybe the same thing. Maybe that's the plan now. It's just like basketball, right? Like, hey, We got
But
football.
But Kuzhinov is not eligible for this
No,
match, right?
So midweek it would have to be him the whole 90, and that's why you say give us what you got. At the
Mhm.
very worst, now this is the question: do you put JSP back in for midweek because you do need that extra defender body with the injuries we have with Diaz and Ake still being out? It might be a shout for JSP to come back in just as a sub.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna make you upset with me, and that's gonna
Go
make
right
me
ahead.
upset with me.
Okay.
Rico's gonna start in the midweek.
You're right. Rico, Vardiol, Akanji, Newts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Hey, Club Brugge's only scored 6 goals in Champions League in 7 matches. They got to play. They got to get a win. A draw don't help them. Well, actually, no, a lot. A draw does help them. It keeps us out.
Keeps us
So
out,
they
right?
won't be too aggressive. We're at home. Okay, you got it, Tiny Tot. Go ball out, little man.
Yeah, ball out.
Go ball out,
Just
little man. All right, well, prediction time. What we got for Arsenal?
there is one goal in that match, and we
Who's
score
gonna
it.
get it? I love it.
1-0.
Yeah.
And I think it's Yasko. I think Yasko gets it again. Like,
He's on. You know what?
and
I got my.
it would like I think it would be so poetic if we score a set piece goal against Set Piece FC.
That's hard to do. We ain't big enough. I will say this though, their right back situation is fucked. Mamouche could go eat.
Yep.
He could have a field day against whoever they put at right back, Party or whoever they roll out there. Now, if they put Timber out there, it's a little bit better. I will say that if they want to start him. But yeah, it probably will be Timber because California's back, so he can move to okay, that's a little bit better. But I still think Mamouche could give them problems.
Yep.
And open up some space for Holland and Foden and KDB.
Yep.
The threat of him. I got us winning at 2-1. I think we get 2. I think we concede 1.
Okay.
But I love it. I want the pressure to be on Arsenal. I don't think there's any crazy cards. I just think we beat them straight, fair and square. And now it's like, ooh, because the goal is not to catch Liverpool. I think the goal is to embarrass Arsenal.
Correct. That is 100% correct.
So let's embarrass them.
Yes. Speaking of embarrassments, we have shock, awe, and applause. And I teased mine, so I'm gonna just go ahead and come out with it. I was interested on Saturday. I was like, okay, I know that like Chelsea women host Arsenal. It's going to be a big match, 1 versus 2. I really wonder, like, who is going to be the referee for this match? I pull up Thom Bomb, and it is one Emily Heaslip in charge of, and City fans will remember Emily Heaslip from she of the I am red carding Alex Greenwood and Lauren Hemp in the same match where City was essentially down to 10. No, excuse me, down to 9. And the only reason that Chelsea actually equalized that match is because Alana Kennedy had to leave the pitch after being injured right before a Chelsea set piece. I knew that this match was going to give me something. I did not know that it was going to be the Katie McCabe was given a yellow card for her protestation of Chelsea being awarded a penalty against Kim Little. And as soon as Emily Heaslip raised her arm and called Katie McCabe's number with the yellow card in hand, you can't even see it. Like on the replay, you can't hear the on-field audio, but you see the way that she turns to the referee and just immediately says, "Fuck off," and just it like Crunk clipped it, and it's on our Blue Sky account on the show's Blue Sky account. I encourage all of you to go look at it because it brought me so much joy because there were so many different competing factors that went into it. It was the quickness with which she told her to fuck off. It was the immediate protestation of Aaron Cuthbert to say, hey, you can't be doing that. Like, y'all remember that that meme of LeBron pulling the referee to the fan and saying, right here, Mr. Official, right here is right. That was the energy that Aaron Cuthbert was given in that moment. And Guru Wrighton ends up making the penalty. Katie McCabe obviously gets sent off with the 2 yellows. It was just an interesting way to lose the match. Yes, it was a penalty. It was 100% a penalty. That stated, like, I don't know, like Katie McCabe. That's not the way you want to go out. Although, if anyone was going to do it, I think that it's the funniest possible outcome that Katie McCabe and Emily Heaslip exchanged words, and that just made me very, 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 very happy. Charlie, what about you? What you got?
So I'm gonna take a trip down to the South Coast. And on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, you had Bournemouth hosting Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, third in the league. Bournemouth, seventh in the league. So you got a big matchup here. And I want to specifically focus on the second half, bro, because there was a sequence, and I'm gonna just use Thom Bomb to help me out. So here's what happened. Halftime happens. There's one sub by Forrest. They put on Dominguez for Yates, and then that's the 46th minute. And then, bruh, the 55th minute, Dango Ouattara, he gets a header off a beautiful cross from Justin Kluivert, who had scored earlier in the match. So that was his second goal contribution. Then 3 minutes after that, a goal was ruled out offside by Kluivert. And you know what Bournemouth said? Don't worry about it. We're going to get it back. 3 minutes after that, Dango Ouattara scores again. Second assist of the day by American Tyler Adams. And then they say, you know what? We're not done. We're not done. 87th minute, Dango Ouattara, second half hat trick. And lastly, they said we want more. So Semenyo gives you a stoppage time goal assisted by Marcus Tavernet. 5-0 belt to ass. Like before this match, Forest had only conceded 22 goals in 22 matches. They gave up 5. Like it put something on them. Like in Iriola, Anthony Iriola, the manager of Bournemouth, is going to get the Spurs job. I'm calling it now. They're going to fire. They're going to fire Big Ange, and they're going to get Ariola because what he's doing. And Bournemouth has an injury crisis, bro. Like they actually are missing Smith, Hill, Arroyo, Senesi, Scott, Unal, Evan Nilsson, Siniestra. If you lost count listening, that's 8 players they're missing, and they're still running through teams. That's defenders, midfielders, strikers. Like they're missing almost a whole outfield 10, and it does not matter, bro. They are real. I gave them the ultimate sign of respect for a little club. The fighting Michael B. Jordans. I let them have one of my shirts on EA FC 25. I'm proudly rocking that home kit because they ball out. And Kluivert, he's about to get a move somewhere too. Like this is very remnant of like that Monaco team that have or you think about your side that just balls out and it's like, oh, we got to get those players. That Cherry's about to run it up. It's like Brighton, right? They're gonna get a bag, but
for certain.
They're definitely gonna be losing some talent, manager, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, and the real Captain America balled out. Like the Anthony Mackie Captain America balled out.
Let's go. We here, baby. He's back. He's ready. 2 assists.
That's right.
Let's go, TA. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, man. It was a great weekend. Great show.
All right. Well, that is our show. We thank you so much for joining us for this little 2-man game that we had going on today.
Back and forth, baby.
Sharpie, let the people know where they can find you and what you're up to.
Please find me on Blue Sky primarily, but also on X. Every now and then I'll say a little quote tweet situation. Because it's more jokes over there. I ain't gonna lie. Like I got so much clout built up. It's just people that make me laugh. On X. But yeah, just watching all the games. We now have the Super Bowl set up. Congrats to you, Thom. Another one, as they say. I know it doesn't get old because it's just great every time. Every team's different.
It's great.
So we got Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl coming up February 9th. But talking NBA, talking college basketball, talking of course world football. I'll be there for Wednesday Champions League. It's gonna be a fun afternoon. Where can they find you, Tom?
They can find me in so many different places, but I think really the best place for anybody who's listening to this show at this point, just follow us on Blue Sky at Shades of Blue NW. Gets you in touch with all of the shows of the Shades of Blue Network and everything that we're up to, and just tap in with us. We appreciate you listening for our 90 minutes recap of the week. And I don't have the calendar in front of me, and Crunk's probably going to be a little upset, but I know he's got shows. I know we're doing the lit stream on Thursday. I know that for a fact. That I know. Boom.
Pull up Thursday, pull up Sunday, because on Sunday, I'm looking at the times now. It is an early match for the Man City Arsenal women's match.
Yes, it
But I'm
is.
almost certain. I know we'll have a kickoff show for the men's match.
Correct.
So check in with us out for kickoff to discuss the men's match at Emirates Stadium.
You know it. And y'all also know the vibes. It is Shady Gang, it is Shady Gang, and it is Shady Gang. And we'll see y'all soon.
Peace.